Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
The A's win last night, Dallas?
In other news, what I wanted to address.
Got Family Feud today. Very excited for that. That's going to be something that people are going to be talking about all weekend long. Another edition of Family Feud where Dallas and I are at least a win is attainable. It's on the table. Why not?
Yeah, well,
why not us?
That's what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're saying. They're saying they've finally gone back to the rule book again. I don't know how many times this is, but we're assured that this time things are going to be cleaned up, cleared up, and we'll have an actual fucking path to a victory that's, like you said, attainable. It's actually real.
Well, as long as Saddam Havens is in power, I'm not sure we can trust the process. Like, I'm not sure that it's in the right hands. It's kind of a give and take scenario where, you know, he does a fine enough job, but like that 10% where it's a little iffy, that's the 10% that ultimately costs us a victory on Thursday. Family Feuds here on Baseball is Dead. So.
Yeah, it's victory, it's integrity. I mean, I believe we need to start having a discussion of locating the weapons of mass confusion, because that's what this dude just continues to fucking deploy, is weapons of mass confusion. And, do they exist? Are they here? You can find them if you can.
Yeah.
It's not cool. Not cool.
One of the things that we do in April is, I think we sort of gravitate to attach ourselves to the players that were free agents. And it's like, how those guys that got all the hoopla of they got a big money deal, or maybe they waited too long to get signed and during the offseason. By the way, there is someone going to town in the back of. So if you're hearing that is Dallas Braden is building an apocalypse bunker. It sounds like in his house.
Well, I'm having a swing and furniture installed in the bedroom. Yeah,
got it.
My bad.
Got it. But to my point, I think we sort of follow these free agents through the month of April, and then we kind of get settled into the season. We just kind of forget about that. I wanted to highlight an individual that maybe it's too harsh to say he was an afterthought in free agency, but he certainly wasn't treated with the appropriate amount of desire that he should have been, given A, his resume, and B, what he has done so far this season. Jayhay, do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't actually.
Wow. The pen's hitting good this morning, brother. It is Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso with a couple of jacks.
Come on.
What? He sat out there begging for, he made offers.
You're right.
He made offers to teams. They didn't even make offers to him.
No, I was digging a little deeper in my head. That's all.
Yeah,
I thought it was that's all. I know Pete Alonso.
Yes, I know that you know him, but it's coming off of a 2-homer game, and it's more of an update on, hey, compare and contrast. How's Juan Soto working out so far? How is Pete Alonso, who you basically told to fuck himself, I dare you to sign with another team, and he said, please don't make me do this, and had to beg to come back to the Mets, and he's hitting 290 with a 386 on base, a 563 slug, 949 OPS, leads the league in doubles with 19, has 14 homers, and leads the league in RBI with 53, and it is a 171 OPS plus. This is the dude that you treated like a side piece, and you're like, yeah, I guess I'll hang out tonight because my roster didn't want to hang out with me tonight. So I guess you can come over and suck my dick if you want. That's how you treated Pete Alonso.
And you know what? Pete has put together quite a service here. He is showing you that it was well worth your time to pick up the phone and invite him on over, right? Because he's quite literally blown your mind up until this point. I just think that when you start talking about free agents and identifying these players, and I thought you were coming off of a list that didn't have somebody who, like you said, was identifying teams and basically petitioning the teams for their own employment.
I just don't want people to forget how Pedro Alonso was treated this past winter and how he did not let that affect his performance on the field this year. That's all. That's all.
I mean, isn't it self-imposed to an extent when you're telling the Mets that you have a special offer for them? That kind of tells everybody else.
The special offer didn't come until fucking 3.5 months into the offseason. He didn't say, I think it was, all right, guys, offseason time. So here's what I prepared for you. It was more so they got to Fan Fest and fans were chanting, re-sign Alonso. And you had Steve Cohen being like, who? Do you understand how baseball teams are run? We have to pay money to good players, and he's not one of them. And we don't have a spot for him on our team. Yeah, changed his tune real quick, didn't he?
He's downplaying, slow playing what are ongoing negotiations.
You don't slow play faces of the franchise. You don't do that.
Well, Uncle Stevie just did.
Well, the Mets are a very rare example of an organization that dicked around their franchise player and still ended up with said player. Because 9 times out of 10, you run that simulation, that player is going, fuck you guys. I'm going to get the money somewhere else, and I don't care if I'm in an undesirable destination. At least they showed that they wanted me.
Yeah, Juan Soto's contract solved the face of the franchise conversation.
Is he though? If you polled Mets fans, who would they vote for? They would. I bet you they would.
You
got
to hear the whole statement. You got to hear the whole statement.
Hey, write this down. Dallas is telling me to listen to the whole statement and not just zone out and start talking. All right, go ahead, Dallas.
You got to hear the whole. Well, I did. I said
June
it all.
5th, 2025, 11:24 a.m. Eastern
Oh, you
time.
know what today is, Dallas? You know what today is? 6504. Never forget. It is the anniversary of the no-hitter 6504 no-hitting Revere 13 strikeouts. Look, perfect shirt to be wearing today. The song is fucking rocking. Punching out 13 of the Revere. Fuck, I don't even know what their team name is. Doesn't matter. I can rename it at this point. I've conquered it.
Because this is a made up thing that has happened.
No, it's really not, and it's sad.
The Revere children. I think it was the Revere children.
Well, I mean, I was a child too. I was 16 in 2004.
The Revere kindergarten class. I believe
no.
Yeah.
I knew that you.
Mrs. Young's kindergarten class at Revere Elementary. Yeah.
No, I knew you guys would do this. And
well, I didn't even know I was going to do it because I didn't know. I forgot it was 6504.
The best recorded pitched game in a beeper ball league by Jared. Great job, Jared.
Tony C. Field in Revere. You can still hear the screams.
Yeah.
Did you ever go back there?
To
the field?
I don't think. I mean, I've played games there since, but I haven't had that moment. Like when in Saving Private Ryan, when he goes to Arlington National Cemetery to observe his sergeant's gravesite. I haven't had that moment yet with the mound, but I feel like I
might
should.
Might be hard to get to that moment with Tony C. Field if you're looking for the Arlington Cemetery moment. Yeah.
I mean, speak for yourself, brother. I mean, I feel like I could have a deep
launch the career,
moment.
Right?
Yeah, it really did, truly did. But yeah, what were you saying, Dallas? I'm stupid.
Yeah, you just had to listen to the whole statement.
But you didn't finish your sentence. I'm trying to listen now. But all right,
I did. Yeah, you just didn't hear it. And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because you said if you ask Mets fans, and I said. I believe the paycheck that they wrote to Juan Soto at least solved the face of the franchise question in ownership's eyes, in the front office's eyes. Because when you write that kind of check, you're not listening to anybody else tell you who your favorite player is or who your prized bull is. Because you're going, well, it's the dude that we just signed up for 15 years. That's who our franchise guy is. So we understand and appreciate what Pete Alonso has meant to the team, and we understand how he's fit into the lore of this team. But the check that I just wrote Juan Soto, that right there is what's going to call or make him the face of the franchise in my eyes. And as you said, if you want to poll Mets fans, you might have a different answer.
Yeah. So can I retort, please? So let's just say we hop in a hypothetical hot tub here. Let's say
just a hot tub?
Just a hypothetical hot tub, right? Where the Jets are cruising, The water's 115. We are in there. We're sweating this one out, right? And in this hypothetical hot tub, in our parallel universe that we've created in here, Juan Soto actually accepts the Yankees offer. Is Juan Soto the face of the Yankees franchise because he's making $750 million?
Well, no, they have a similar commitment to another individual in place.
It's
and
like
if
double.
You're going to sit here.
Double. I don't know that it's similar.
Well, I mean, when we're talking 9+ figures, that's where I start to go similar.
I don't know.
Right?
I think if someone offered me $340 million or $760 million, if they were similar, and then it's like, all right, well, there's really no difference. I'm taking the 760.
Similar in terms of mega deal structure. Like
I don't
what Pete Alonso's making and what Juan Soto is making. Those are similar deals, comparatively speaking, if you're talking about what Judge would be making and what Soto would be making, right? So then we just take that same model and apply it right here to the Mets situation. So the check is going to be bigger for Juan Soto, but there's zero question in the front office's eyes or in the fans' eyes who the face of that franchise is. It's Aaron Judge. But you write the paycheck to Juan Soto that just absolutely dwarfs the compensation for Pete Alonso, and everything happens and transpires the way it did with the Mets and Pete Alonso. That becomes very clear how Pete Alonso was viewed by the franchise, not by the fans, by the franchise. So that is step one to identifying who your franchise player is. But from an organizational perspective, nobody in the Yankees was looking to oust Aaron Judge from that platform. Nobody that wears a Yankee jersey to the game was looking to oust Aaron Judge from that platform. He is and will be until the day he retires the face of that franchise.
I'm going to call Clem. I'm calling Clem right now. I'm calling in a Mets expert, a Mexpert.
Metspert?
Yeah, he'll be able to settle this because I think Lindor. I was going to ask Jayhay, face the franchise, and then I just can't trust Jayhay to not say Lindor as well. Clem,
it's the Rocket. It's
Clem,
the Rocket.
I love you, by the way. I just want to say that I'm so happy that the Mets are having a great season. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you who my pick is. I'm not going to tell you who my pick is because I don't want any bias to get involved in the conversation.
You're a national media writer, Jared.
That's all.
Call down the middle. Always have. Always
I'm trying to stay impartial on this particular subject because I don't necessarily have a dog in the fight, as they say. We kind of have a little bit of a kerfluffle between Jayhay. I don't even know what Jayhay's opinion is. I'm projecting. I'm assuming what his pick is. Dallas is, abrasive as always, and then I'm kind of being more rational.
That's not fucking true.
Yeah, see, this is what I got to deal with. I called in the Mets guy, the Metspert, so to speak. I want to know who is the face of the Mets franchise. Is it Juan Soto because of what he's getting paid? Is it Francisco Lindor because he's kind of viewed as the team captain? Or is it Pete Alonso because he's kind of like the heartbeat of the team? Who is the face of the Mets franchise? And you can't say like, oh, it's a little bit of everyone or it's a little bit of both of these guys. We need one name. Who's the face of the franchise?
Disgusting.
I mean, I could just fuck everything up and say Uncle Stevie, he's our God, he's our savior, he's the one who makes the true heartbeat of the Mets. But I will not do that because I will settle this kerfuffle because I do not like kerfuffles. I do not like them amongst friends, especially. I mean, I think any Mets fan worth their salt. Listen, Pete came up through the system, which, the homegrown guys, you always love a little extra because you've been following them since they were babies. Juan is obviously the guy that not only did we sign, but we stole him from the Yankees. But Lindor is El Capitan. And, to get that name, and then even the losers, as we called them, the Lindorks, who were hating on this guy, when he was struggling getting started. And then I think that it wasn't even the grand slam against the Phillies. It was the home run against the Braves that kind of slayed the beast, at least for 1 year in Atlanta. That's why I consider Francisco Lindor the guy, Mr. Smile. He's going around. That story in The Athletic, he says hi to all the people after every series, checks in on all his teammates, every single one of them. He's the dude, and kind of his ascension kind of matches the Mets' ascension from last year going into this year, right? MVP candidate and just all-around great family guy. He's who I aspire to be, Jared.
So I think this is the perfect resolution to the dispute, is the answer is I don't win, nor does Dallas.
Jayhay is always the right one. He's always right. You know that. Right?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, would you have said, because I'm just assuming he would have said Lindor. Would you have said Lindor, Jayhay?
Yeah, that's what I would have said.
Yeah. Yeah. So that checks out. I mean, well, can you power rank them? Like, would you have? Would you have? Yeah. Would
now you're looking to win the battle against Dallas, basically.
Yeah. Just let me know that I'm closer to the target than Dallas was.
Okay, so we're gonna go like this. We're gonna go. So what was the face of the franchise? You said.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna say Lindor is the face of the franchise. We're going to say Pete is the muscles of the franchise, and Juan Soto is the guts of the franchise. I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying just to mess both you guys up so nobody's happy, but if both are happy. I have to do this with my kids all the time, and I have to make them feel like they both won the fight, you know?
But wouldn't you agree that Juan Soto's been a little gutless? Hasn't he been a little gutless to start his Mets career? That's just, I mean, I'm just trying to echo the sentiment of the true Mets fan, you know, like the Mets fan that's paying their hard-earned money. You know, they're working at the fucking peanut butter and jelly factory, and then they're going to Citi Field, and they want to see good, hard, clean baseball. And I don't know that Juan Soto's provided that. I know who does provide that every single night. I see
down the line.
I see Pete Alonso hustling to the major league lead in RBI. I see that. I see him leading the National League in doubles.
He's in a contract year every year now for the rest of his life. He needs to hustle. Juan Soto doesn't have. Jared, I hate to say this, brother. You are my brother, right?
Yes.
I hate to say this about you.
Mm-hmm.
You know who's saying that? It ain't the Mets fan. It's the Yankees fan who's saying that because they're still buttered that he left the team. And Jared, we are the Mets Sox connection. Do not start talking like those people on that side of town. We do not associate with them, okay?
Yeah.
You want Juan Soto to be good because it pisses them off even more because, trust me, I see every Juan Soto post. I got gabagool guys with their same fucking 27 rings avatars just replying on everything. Do not speak like them. Do not become them, Jared.
Yeah, so I think
Clem.
where my heart truly is at, Clem, here's where I'm at. I'm not trying to put Juan Soto down. I'm trying to elevate Pete Alonso because they dicked this man around all winter to the point where he was like sexually propositioning himself to get a contract from the Mets. And I feel like a man with his resume deserved more respect than he got this offseason, and he deserves more respect than he's getting this season because he's putting up numbers that I think Mets fans would have loved to have seen Juan Soto put up, but it's actually Pete Alonso that's doing it.
That's a fair point, Jared. Is there like a big market team that has an opening at first base that could have spent some money on Pete Alonso if their owners actually opened their pockets here and there?
Yeah, but we had a first baseman, but he
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, bring up Roman Anthony. He's just rotting on my fantasy bench right now. What is it going to take for you assholes to bring him up? I need this guy. I need roster spots, dude. I've got coming off the IL. And Roman Anthony, I can't just leave him there any longer.
I've been screaming it from the mountaintops. I don't understand it. We had Jeffrey Passan on last night. Kevin's one of his best personal friends. And we were asking him, like, what's the national perception of what's going on here? And we are a mockery. We are being laughed at from all corners of the baseball world that we haven't yet called up this 21-year-old phenom. It's quite dishonest to the fan base when they've operated with so much urgency. Yet here we have the number one prospect in baseball ready to deploy, putting up monster numbers at AAA, and they're like, I just quite don't see it. I don't know that we can have this guy on the big league roster. We're far too talented at 5 games under 500 to have him up here.
You're smuggling him out of the locker room in laundry baskets. He's such a star, yet you don't want to bring him up to the show and let him, let that star shine and win some games for the Red Sox. Because again, when the Mets were out of it in August all my childhood, it's like, all right, guess I got to root for the Red Sox to beat the Yankees because that's all I have at this point. So I'm rooting for you guys from a distance, even though I feel like it's Juan Soto slander. Again, Dallas will end up looking right in the long run. He's 26 years old. He's just a kid. He's just getting his feel for the game right now in Flushing. You see him toss that bottle last night? Tell me you saw that, Jared.
I saw. So I need to clarify one thing so we can be on the same page here. I don't want to sound like Yankee fans that are disparaging Juan Soto. I'm simply, as Coley puts it, we are sports lawyers. Like that's what we are at our core. So if Jayhay picked Juan Soto, then and if Dallas picked Lindor, you would hear Lindor slander. Like, I'm simply just muddying the case of Dallas to make my case look better. I have nothing against Juan Soto. Love the player.
And that's why I didn't go to law school. That, and I'm not smart enough. But that's why I'm not a lawyer, Jared.
That's right. That's
Because
right.
I don't want to do that kind of stuff. No. I just want the record to state I was on Jayhay's side of the argument, which is honestly the right side of the argument. The man just cooked more nuggets than McDonald's.
Yep. Usually is.
Nailed it.
It usually is. Thank you, Clem, for taking the impromptu time. As always, I know I never give you a heads up, but it's just a compliment that whenever there is a Mets debate, like, it takes maybe 3 seconds for me to reach out to you to settle a Mets debate.
Well, the first two is you call KFC, he didn't pick up, and then it's like, we're going to go with the Clem now. I'm like the number 2 guy in the bullpen.
No.
I'm happy to be getting the call.
Jayhay's middle name is Noble. He'll tell you right now I called you first right away.
So it's because my grandfather stared at. No, I'm just. That was the. You were the first person we called. No joke.
All right. Even if not, I don't care. I love all three of you. I hope that we can ease through this argument for the rest of the time. But we can just enjoy the Mets going on another magical run together. I feel like we're all one boat with this thing.
Yep. I mean, listen.
I'm ready for Grimace to show up again, Clem. We're getting those ass cheeks tattooed.
I was looking into it. My wife saw the tweet and she goes, "Wait, did you say you're going to get a tattoo?" And I said, "Yeah, babe, just so you know, that's definitely happening." You knew I was going to get some sort of a fast food mascot tattoo the day you met me, and now it's actually going to happen potentially because of a baseball team. So we'll see how it goes. But I think we said this like off air on our podcast. We got to believe the Mets podcast. We said like we're all just going to get the tattoos if they win like next year, right? And everyone's like, "Yeah, like fuck it, we're all in." Like Mets fans, I'm telling you, you guys see the Knicks fans after those games at MSG. There's a lot of Mets fans in there, that kind of like weird, crazy energy. The stuff if the Mets win the World Series is going to be nuts. That comes out online, and the stuff that's going to be tattooed and permanently scarred onto bodies afterwards. So I can't wait to go through this run with you boys, and I appreciate the phone call every single time I get it.
Unbelievable. We Gotta Believe is the name of the podcast. Mets fans, I'm sure you already know of it. If you don't, check it out. Clem, thank you so much.
You guys be good. Love you.
I love you. Bye. That's Clem.
It's not always about the money, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's about the Mets, baby. Love the Mets. All right, baby. Let's go. Get a home run, baby. Love the Mets.
Get a home run, baby. You know who's doing that? Pete Alonso.
Yeah, the face of the franchise, Juan Soto. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad we had that discussion because I was going to ask Jayhay if we want to do just a quick check-in on where we're at on that jersey bet, and I don't think we need to. Think we're right where we need to be. Right.
What was the jersey bet you guys had?
That Pete Alonso will have a higher OPS than Juan Soto.
Oh, yeah, but didn't you guys take that like a few games into the season? Like this wasn't like a preseason bet, right?
No, it was well into
after
the season.
A conversation.
Yeah, but Soto needs to get going for sure.
Yeah, Jayhay felt very strongly about his position, very strongly, and I said, "Well, okay, if you feel so strongly about it, then let's you know what the next step is. Put a fucking jersey on it."
803 to 949, so the gap is 146 points right now.
You know that's
Swing
a hot weekend. You know,
swing it.
Yeah, a couple 3-homer games.
Not asking for much.
I'm gonna ask Jayhay this question. At one point, the Athletics were 22-20, and they had sole possession of the third wild card. They've played 21 games since then. What is their record?
Oof. I believe it's 1-20.
It's 1-20. That's correct. Yep. That we don't have to discuss.
The second worst
just a little
record
trivia.
it could possibly be.
Yeah, just a little trivia. I wanted to give a big congrats to the Colorado Rockies for completing the sweep against the Miami Marlins. That is, that's big time. You know, I mean, I certainly can't talk shit. Winning 3 straight. Jake, when's the last time the fucking Red Sox won 3 straight?
I think like 2021.
Yeah, I can't say much about that.
Fucking miserable right now.
Yeah. I can't. There's plenty I can say about the Underdog fantasy app, though. Yeah, there's plenty I can say about that. Yeah. Dallas, did you have any picks this morning? Did you have picks yesterday? When's the last time one of your picks hit? 2021?
Last week. Last week, yeah.
Okay.
And again, once I've got a lot of red tape that I got to cut through apparently that I wasn't aware of to get the picks in.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's
Nobody had picks yesterday. We didn't do picks yesterday. They were running some internal testing.
See,
what were they testing? So they were like, how does Jared keep doing this?
I think that's what it was. I think they wanted to slow down the engines a little bit. They were like, whoa, baby.
Yeah. They're like, we still have to like employ these guys. How are we going to do that if he keeps putting out winning picks all the time?
Basically what it was. It's a good reason to download the app, though.
It is. I would agree with that. Yeah. And I would also add that if you do, or not if you do, because I know you will, when you do, sign up with the promo code Jared. That's Jared to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Jared. It sure is. Okay. The ABS system. It could be coming next year. Major League Baseball. Taylor Walls, like he's not getting suspended or not suspended. He's not getting ejected next year if this thing passes. That's just going to be commonplace.
No, I think you're going to get ejected because there's going to be there's going to be guys I think that might drop that when you don't have that available.
I'm saying next year we would have it.
No, I'm saying if it's not available to them. So say they've already exercised it. They've already exhausted the ability to challenge. When they find themselves in that same spot in a different point in time, they might be like, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Beat it.
Yeah. So I feel like we've already talked about the whole ABS thing and how we all feel about it.
I hate it. I fucking hate this conversation, man. Like, not until we do something about it. Just shut up and move on, because we're gonna say the same shit 15 different ways, 15 different times, and it's just tired until something happens. There's really no other, like, what do you want to talk about? The impact of the sport? What's going to happen? We know it's going to render the catching position completely useless, a completely offensive driven position. That's what will happen. It's not like we're not already there. We appreciate the guys who can do both. We appreciate the muddying of the waters when it comes to snatching balls up out of the bottom of the strike zone, bringing balls down in from the top of the strike zone. There's a skill to that. That is a valuable skill. But the minute that this strike zone becomes implemented, that skill is rendered obsolete. It simply just will not matter. So from there, what happens? Again, roster construction looks a little different because the position value has changed. You start to identify offensive-driven guys in that position, and we're no longer talking about the ability to catch or receive. The only thing we have to worry about is whether or not you can slow it down and move your feet and exchange quick enough to throw a motherfucker out at second. That's it. Full stop. Full stop. We don't have to say anything more about it. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's probably the angle that we should be looking at first and foremost. For me, though, in terms of like the pace of play, I don't know that I can really get a feel for it until I see it in games that matter.
Well, like the challenge system, the pace, non-impacted whatsoever. And you also have to consider the entertainment element that comes along with that, and the fact that there is no pace of play issue that starts to become a conversation because it happens so quickly. So the people in the building look up at the big board. They get the Hawkeye replay of where the ball crossed, where it clipped the zone. It lights up. Everybody's excited. The hitter gets back in the box, or the hitter walks to the dugout after that, because you're either out or you've got another pitch, and everybody's excited about it, and you move on quickly.
I didn't mean to make you mad by including that.
Well, I just want to know what other, like, it does fire me up.
It's just a news item. It was just a news item.
But I want to know what other angle, and I'm obviously, I'm not yelling at you, but I want to know what other angle, like, seriously, how else do you want to attack this? Like, from what other perspective?
No, I think I think there is my perspective on it. I know Jared just shared his. I think mine is as limited as I didn't necessarily appreciate that the urgency was going to be coming as quickly as 2026 for Major League Baseball for the recommendation. So, like, if that's what's the recommendation is, and you've laid out the basic impact, yeah, that kind of is the end of the conversation until we see it actually in play. But you know, you don't know what you're missing until the change happens, and I think this could be something of that case from a viewing perspective. Certainly from a strategic and roster building perspective, but from a viewing perspective, I do wonder what the net out will be here, because I know how I feel about replay in sports and what that does to the overall aesthetic and viewing experience and the momentum and the ebb and flow and all that sort of stuff. And I know this is nuanced, but we'll see whether it's an improvement overall.
Well, you know what? Let's take a quick moment to take stock of how we feel about the replay and the impact that the replay has had on our viewing experience, because we've had, in my opinion, enough of a runway now to be able to come to a determination on how you feel about it. And do you feel as a viewer that you are robbed of a momentous occasion? Do you feel like you have been able to settle in to understanding and almost bracing yourself for a close play? And hey, I don't want to get too excited because I know there replays a possibility. Like, where are you at with that as a viewer, just as a raw consumer?
I have a take. I think it is by far the least invasive of the major sports in terms of replay. I think it is my criticism that I said before about momentum and that kind of stuff. I think it is least applicable to baseball. And I think the number of decisive down the stretch plays, down the stretch, quote unquote, that will end up being subject to replay, I think are going to be a fraction of the similar plays in football and basketball, where it feels like basically every decisive play is subject to replay in a basketball game down the stretch. And that's what robs the situation of momentum. Touchdowns, obviously, that's a big problem in the NFL or that kind of stuff. Or you see a touchdown and you have to brace yourself because you're waiting for, the holding call or whatever it might be. I think it's as far as specific to baseball, I don't think it impacts it all that much.
Yeah. So then the next question will be, does the challenge and the process of the challenge bother you, or do you feel like that's going to become an issue? And that has already been proven in the minor leagues, as I said, to actually start to become a source of entertainment, because it's an ooh-ah factor for the fans in the ballpark when they see that replay get popped up on the screen, and now everybody knows. And to be fair, like, as far as pimping a homer or like a K strut after you fucking wipe somebody out, like this is going to be you're going to just see like a very cavalier or there's going to be some flair, some style to how these guys or you're just going to get the quick head shake. Like, no, double tap, bro, go back to this. Come on. We both know that was a strike. Like but I just don't see it being the issue that I know a lot of people, and I will readily admit that when it came to replay, I was one of the first folks to be like, bro, this is going to rob us of the moment. This is going to rob us of the moment. And I feel like as a sport, as an industry, we have gotten to a place where that is not something that bothers us now. We're okay with that.
I'm not okay with the downward trend of managerial ejections. That's all. But you can still argue, if you want to argue with the robot, knock yourself out, I guess. I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, there's still going to be calls.
I know,
where a replay doesn't, a replay just, whether it's obvious or not, goes the other way, and you're pissed off about it. Balls and strikes calls,
there's still a number of unreviewable plays that maybe should be reviewable if we have replay, but for the sake of, again, managerial blowups, which I enjoy, there's a bunch of non-reviewable plays.
Yeah, there's a ton. There is a ton.
Yeah. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I did want to talk about Ridge wallets for a second, though, because I just got my new credit card in the mail today.
Did you?
So I have to activate that, and it got me thinking.
What's the number on it? What's the first? Or just like the last four, maybe.
I would give you my credit card if you needed it. If your bum ass needed help or something like that, I would give you my credit card. Give you a monthly stipend.
Oh, thanks,
yeah,
buddy. I appreciate that.
That's just the kind of guy I am. Not an issue. but I'd make sure that you had a Ridge wallet first, though. I can't just be helping out someone that doesn't have class.
Yeah,
Kind of one of those things.
Give me the card and then give me nothing to carry it in. I don't want to lose that.
Well, I don't think you would lose it because they have the AirTag capability. Yes, that's actually one of the great things about Ridge wallets. Because they're also unique and slim in the modern design, holds up to 12 cards. Plus, are you a cash carrier? I feel like you must be. You're like one of those guys.
Cash. I have cash on me.
What do you keep that for? You leave like a tip for the cleaners at the hotel or something?
Yeah, tip for the cleaners, tip for the bellman, tip for the doorman. Yep.
I don't know that I never tipped a bellman because I'm strong enough to carry my own luggage. I know how like weak your arms are, but definitely the cleaners for sure. I always leave.
If you ever got to the big leagues, you would understand. But that's
again, that was a choice. That was a choice that I made. That was a choice that you made. You know, but again, we ended up at the same place, didn't we?
Kind of, yeah. We did.
Sure did.
Me too.
You did. Made with premium materials like aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber, over 50 plus colors, and styles to choose from. Like if you have this, Coley has a Red Sox wallet. Would you? I don't know. I feel like you would take it as something that was like a condescending gesture. Would you accept an A's Ridge wallet for me, Dallas?
No, I would not.
Why?
Because there's only one fucking reason you even mention. Oh, I think you would take it as a because that's how it would be meant. That's how.
What do you mean? I know that you would appreciate. I know that you would appreciate it, and it's
fucking weasel.
Like it would be something where people would see your like. I put it this way, Dallas. You would get a million compliments on your wallet. And you just don't want to have to say, because people will be like, where'd you get it? Where'd you get it? You just don't want to have to say, like, my friend Jared got it for me. That's that's the issue.
You say I went to Jared. No,
that's a you problem, not a me problem. I'm doing it so that you can have a great wallet. You don't want to receive it because you don't want to give me praise. That's the problem.
If you sent me I mean, you know what? No, you know what? Fuck this. Maybe this is part of what's going on in the universe right now for me. I would be proud to carry an A's Ridge wallet bestowed upon me by you. I would be proud. I would make a social media post about it. That's how fucking proud I would be of that.
That's the attitude. That's the attitude right there.
My doorbell just rang.
Yeah, go get your doorbell. I'll keep talking about Ridge while you go do that. Wow. All right. So this is going to be the second Ridge wallet that I purchased. Dallas is going to receive one from me, and then I have my own. Does it give you peace of mind knowing that all Ridge wallets have RFID blocking technology, keeping you safe from digital pickpocketers? I feel like Dallas is kind of primed for like a digital pickpocket because he doesn't quite like understand that world. Over 100,000. Oh, you're back. 100,000 5-star reviews. Losing your wallet's the worst, as we all know. There's certain individuals that maybe use certain substances that leads to losing things quite often. Dallas is one of those people. So Ridge wallets actually have an AirTag attachment. You'll know exactly where it is before panic mode kicks in. And Ridge isn't just about wallets. They create premium everyday carry essentials like key cases, suitcases. You're a traveling guy, so we can dabble into some of this too as well if you will accept more gifts. And rings, all built in with the same sleek, durable design. No matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping, a 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty on all of their products. And right now, just in time for Father's Day, maybe this will be my Father's Day gift to you, Dallas. Ridge is having a huge sale. Get up to 40% off your order at ridge.com/BID. Just head to ridge.com/BID to find the perfect gift for dad or yourself. When you check out, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that Baseball is Dead sent you there, and give dad the upgrade that he deserves this year. Give it to him. He deserves it. Shout out to all the dads out there, man. Jayhay, our dear friend Jeffrey Passan he wrote a trade deadline piece, and you had several things that stood out to you. Would you like to talk to us about them, please?
Sure, we can run through them quickly. I just, part of them were like tongue in cheek. Part of them, I think, were serious. Alcantara was mentioned again, and the destination specifically that he was linked to, not with hard and fast reporting, but more as speculation as a landing spot, was the Cubs as one team if they're not able to prize someone who's maybe a little bit higher up the food chain. If Framber Valdez, Zach Gallen were people that were mentioned as guys who could pop free. But it does still seem like Sandy Alcantara, despite the start, despite the jokes, remains somebody who real teams with winning aspirations are going to get their hands on. And that to me is actually like, it's exciting, because the one thing we've talked about with Sandy is that it's not like his velocity is down 2.5 miles an hour. Like, there is potentially still something there.
It's a wild card.
Yeah, for sure. And you get a team with maybe a little bit more organizational competence, or maybe even just a different perspective on the pitcher. And that could be kind of cool. Ryan O'Hearn was mentioned for the Orioles. And I just I know he's playing really well. Part of me it's just crazy that he has probably been their best offensive player and is maybe their best trade chip in a lost season. That's how we're talking about Ryan O'Hearn and some of their other guys. But on the whole, they have an assortment of guys that if they decide to sell, I think could be interesting pieces on other teams. Him, Mullins, guys out of the bullpen if they want to part with Bautista, that sort of thing. What were you going to say?
I was going to say Ryan O'Hearn, I feel like, has been like a top 5 producer for the Orioles the last few years.
He certainly, underrated at this point. He's 5th in baseball in weighted runs created plus, I believe, behind, Judge, Ohtani, Freeman, and Cal Raleigh. So that's a pretty good grouping to be with. The D-backs were mentioned as kind of a swing team. That to me is very interesting because, I've talked about it multiple times that I think they're, on a roster perspective, I still expected them to be the second best team in the division, but we're getting pretty late on that. And with the Corbin Burns news, you do have to wonder if this is kind of viewed as a consolidation, reshuffling sort of season. And with Zach Gallen's pending free agency, that's another kind of weird spot. It's not exactly like Alcantara because the contract situations are different, but it's a guy with a really long track record who might be traded at what would probably be the bottom of his value, right? Like when you factor in time control left and the questionable production to this point, it's like it's a frustrating situation to find yourself in with a guy who's been like a borderline ace for the last half decade.
What is he, like a 5.5 still?
Yeah, I was talking about Gallen. Yeah. He let me see what exactly his ERA is. Yeah, it's 5.13 through 13 starts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's come down.
Yeah,
he's chipped away at it.
Yeah.
What do you think the Red Sox are going to do? Because they were mentioned, Jared.
I think it's going to be a buy and sell situation. We talked about it last night. I think it's going to be, 1-year deal guys are going out, but they're going to try and get creative with maybe trying to bring in cost control guys. But my counter to that when it was proposed was, how often do we really see that? And if you are going to sell, have conviction in it soon to set the market, which was kind of what Coley was saying. I think you could see Walker Buehler get moved, Lucas Giolito, if he figures it out, which I think his direct quote after his shit start yesterday was, "I need to figure it the fuck out." He's had some good starts, but like it's either he's 6 shut or he's fucking 1 2/3 7 earned. Like it
frustrated. I'll be honest, man. It frustrated me because I know Giolito, and he's a thinker at times, right? Like he can get mental with it. And that was what he was talking about, was my mental focus. Like I'm lacking focus. I'm paraphrasing, but that was his point, was the intent and focus from pitch 1 to the last pitch just needs to be better, needs to be there. So it feels like at times it's not even necessarily a stuff thing. It's just am I locked in thing? And I'd like to think that that's something that can be addressed.
Sure. Chapman, obviously that's a big one. And then I've seen a million mock proposals for Jarren Duran. I think all the outfielders are on the table at this point. I think it makes the least amount of sense to trade Rafaela, but I think Willier's on the table. I think Duran's on the table. Chapman, Bueller, Giolito. If anyone wants Story, I doubt it, but all the 1-year guys for sure.
I mean, yeah, Rafaela with the fucking shortest walk-off homer in baseball
Still counts.
Sure
I do
does.
fear.
I know there are many people that could be traded and lots of teams that could be in position, but I do find it kind of crazy that like maybe the 2 highest profile guys who were earmarked for trades before the start of the season as like difference maker level guys, supposedly, have crashed and burned so badly to the point that now these teams have to wonder what they're going to get. And we've talked about Alcantara, so I won't beat that drum, but like Luis Robert Jr. was also mentioned in Passan's column, and like this isn't the first time we've talked about it, but like just a complete disaster season for him to the point where like he's getting days off now for like what's being attributed to like mental resets.
Dude, I'm telling you
on a
right
team
now,
with no talent, like all
Jayhay.
due respect to the major leaguers, no talent relative to the other. Yeah, like
for sure. He is like, if I could put all of my eggs in a basket that say, give this guy a different place to play baseball. Just put him in a different uniform and put him around different people, and you're going to get back to Lou Bob. Do that. And I promise
so you feel good about that, actually.
I do. I feel fantastic about that. I feel
That's interesting to
fantastic
me.
about that. Oh yeah.
Not in a
absolutely.
snarky way. Like that's
No, not at
genuinely
all.
interesting
Nope.
because the production is like really bad and it wasn't good last year either. Yeah.
Mhm. And
He's also
and-
had some quotes where it's pretty evident that he's lacking confidence in himself now.
Yeah, and look, dude. So ask yourselves this: if you were to look at that roster, you look up and down that roster, who's pulling Lou Bob aside and having a heart to heart?
Oh yeah. Fair enough.
Who's leading him down the mountain? Nobody. Nobody. So that's why I say put him in a different scenario where he doesn't have to be, because maybe in the room he's looked at and sort of vaulted to that status, right, of the elder statesman and blah 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 blah. The like most
Got
talented
some money.
guy in the,
Yeah.
right. Like he's checking all these, veteran type boxes, if you will, but might not still be in a place mentally where he can handle or even perform under that sort of responsibility. And it might be better served to be in a place where the motivation is very different. The reason that you're coming to the ballpark is very different, because straight up, like right now, if you're in the situation that the White Sox are in, you're cashing checks. You're just, quote unquote, trying to get better each and every day. That's why you're going to the ballpark. There's not a real thought to winning baseball games, because what's it going to matter if we rattle off 15 in a row? It ain't going to matter. And that right there is just, it's a situation where you don't have everybody pulling in the same direction for all the same reasons. Everybody's at different phases in their growth period. And I mean, Will Venable, the skipper, is trying to do everything he can to win ball games and grow players at the same time. I mean, between he and Mark Kotze, those are the 2 toughest jobs in baseball, because of that balance that you're trying, that fine line you're trying to walk in a results-oriented business and winning games, and then understanding you probably don't have the personnel to do that. So you're going to have to figure out and get creative on how you're going to go about that. So removing Lou Bob from that situation where there is now real hopes and desires to win baseball games, because the postseason is a very real idea and it's a concept that we've been talking about since spring training. Put him in that situation, and I think you see an awakening. You remind him not only of how good he is, but why he's playing this game.
I can't hear the word situation without thinking about the My Ass is in the Jackpot video. You know the situation, Terry. You know the situation. That was just the anniversary just like a couple weeks ago.
I mean, quite possibly the greatest hot mic moment in baseball.
I think it has to be number 1. I don't even know. I mean, maybe those like early like Earl Weaver.
Weavers.
Yeah.
Yep.
You full of shit, Earl.
or Tommy Lasorda. What do you want me to do with him? Bring him out.
They're gonna take him
leaving
out.
him in.
Pull him in. All right, I'm gonna pull him in.
I'm going to pull him in.
Yeah. They're selling like game used Earl Weaver jerseys that have like the
cigarettes patch sewed in. Stop it! Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Where?
So that
Where?
I like auction sites, I guess, but they're not that expensive. I mean, they're not
then. Oh, Jay, you better pray to God Juan Soto gets his shit together.
Oh, an Earl Weaver game used jersey that has a cigarette pouch and the stitching.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a piece of history right there. Anyways, anything else on this, Jayhay?
No, I mean that was mostly it. I mean the Robert side was pretty interesting to me. So,
where are we at on the Mariners, boys, and what they could potentially do?
I mean, they were linked to O'Hearn just like casually in the Passan column. That subjectively feels like the sort of player they would go and get. I mean, honestly, like non-star, like hope he continues what he's doing. Will it stick in that ballpark sort of stuff? Like I would welcome him because I think they could use his production. I think he makes them legitimately better than the people that they've been manning the position, which is a pretty low bar, admittedly, but I think he would make them better. But that was one that was mentioned for sure.
You moving Rowdy? Because that was the one thing that not Rowdy.
Yeah, he's played there.
Yeah. Well, my whole the reason that I was high on the Mariners at the beginning of the season was because I felt like the pitching staff was going to, and unfortunately this hasn't happened just because of some health issues with Logan Gilbert and George Kirby, who's now back. I just felt like they were going to do enough and be able to do enough that it was going to force the hand of the front office on the offensive side. Like, hey, we have to supplement this lineup now.
I think they have done that. If they don't,
of what we're getting,
I think they've met that bar. You don't?
Do you think? What you mean supplementing their? I was talking about come deadline time that they would be doing that the pitching staff would be putting them in such a position where you have not look. We have to go get guys to help because we are in the thick of it right now. We're right at the tip top, and if we don't do anything and just sort of ride this horse out, well, we could run the risk of not being competitive at the end of this. But if we supplement this lineup, we go get a piece or two to add to what we're doing here and to help support what these guys on the bump are doing. Now the Mariners become that much more of a threat. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was anticipating. So the fact that there's any sort of conversation about them maybe moving off of anybody, that would just be hard to have.
I know this isn't the question that you asked, but they have to move the trade deadline back. Like it's got to be like August 1st to like, you've got to be, or even fucking mid-August. Or it is August 1st, like late August. I mean, like you've got to.
Well, you want to take it back down to, so I mean, because that would be just essentially doing what was being done in the past. You're given an opportunity. A larger window just means more of a runway to quote unquote get a feel for what's going on. And that's how it was before, right? The non-tender and then.
Yeah, but with the expanded playoffs, I need more teams knowing that they're out instead of being like, well, we still got 2 months to go and anything can happen. Like, how do we just punt on the rest of the year now? Like, well, because you're not fucking being real about the situation. Like, you might be 3 games back, but are you, if you're 3 games out, but you're fucking 2 under with a negative 30 run differential, are you a playoff team?
Well, hey, have you identified that? That's why I kind of like this, is because do your homework, do your due diligence, and have a game plan. Understand what direction you're trying to head and sell out to that. And I think that's what this deadline does, is it forces teams to be uncomfortably comfortable with where they're at. And you got to make a commitment one way or the other. And it forces teams to say, we like what we have here. We feel like we can make a push with this group internally. And from there, we're going to have to see how it plays out. Or you're going to say, you know what? We're right there. But I think if we add this or that, we could be in a very different position. Let's make that move now. Let's commit now. Let's do that. I love that. I genuinely appreciate it.
I just wish that there were more teams that were definitively sellers, because now when the trade deadline approaches, you've got too many teams that I can tell you you're fucking out of it, but they can't operate that way. They don't want to like, how do you tell your fans we're 3 or 4 games back, but we're selling? It's like, well, and because there's 4 teams ahead of you, like, odds are we've run our numbers and playoff chances are fucking, 11%.
But this is where the extended wild card period or the extended playoff format comes into play again, right? This is where the crutch comes in for organizations. And they say, look, why do we need to make a move? With what we have right now, we're competitive. With what we have right now, we're in the mix. So why would we need to go and do anything else? Why do I need to go and spend money in a place that we might not have to? If I'm second or third wild card, Team X, why do I need to go and make these moves? With the roster we have right now, we're in this position. So that's the counter to that, right? And that's where teams find themselves, is who's serious about winning, or who is okay with being competitive based on how they are currently constructed. Those are the conversations. That's what we're talking about here, is identifying teams that are either in a very real pursuit of being competitive in the postseason and winning postseason baseball games, or are we identifying teams who are just happy to be competitive with the rosters they have currently constructed because of the cost effectiveness that comes with their roster construction?
Is it that time? You think so?
When's a bad time?
Yep.
Oh, welcome back to Baseball is Dead Family Feud, the revamped version. I'm your host, your man, Justin Havens. I mean, obviously, no special guest today. We were going to do a special guest. He couldn't make it. Might be running from the accusations. Who knows? But we got a good episode lined up today. I've gone through the answers. I've combed through them. They're great. They're beautiful. And there's definitely a pathway for you guys to win.
Some of the best answers out there, they say. Got a lot of great answers. Great answers on both sides.
I won't say that the answers are that way, but the questions certainly are. I know who made them. Jared, you're up first. Dallas, gently take your headphones off.
Yeah, pop them off.
Hold on. Let me
very
turn
carefully.
Bluetooth off on this bitch. I've just had it.
I wouldn't turn that off. Who knows if it'll ever come back on?
Yeah, put it in the other room or something.
How you feeling?
I feel neutral.
Okay. It's an honest answer.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Jake, are you ready?
Let's play some Feud.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right. Question number 1, and as always, it is out of 100 BID.
Oh
God. Oh, God.
Hear.
No, that's no good. Okay, I hear you. Thank you for your honesty, sir.
Wow, that's integrity right there.
That is integrity.
He's doing everything he can to kind of get like the A's back on track.
Can you hear me now?
He's
Great.
good.
Okay. Great. Cool. All right. Yeah, man, we need the A's to win. I'm just going to be honest now that it's just us.
Yeah.
We need them to win.
Yeah. It's getting sad.
Yeah, mental health, all that sort of stuff. Dallas's family probably needs them to win.
Yes.
I think everybody's on the same page.
Yep. His daughter's financial future on the line.
Yeah.
College tuition, etc.
Question number 1. Name the best option at catcher for the all quarter century team.
Fucking Jorge Posada.
We just did this. You remember this?
Yeah, but I don't remember who I picked. Who did I pick?
We'll get back to it. Question 2. Between Todd Helton, Joey Votto, Paul Goldschmidt, and Freddie Freeman. Okay, so only 4 options here. Who is the best option for the all-quarter century team at first base?
Joey Votto.
Question 3. After Mariano Rivera, who is the best option for the all-quarter century team at relief pitcher?
That's an unpopular answer, but Aroldis Chapman?
Question 4. Which team will finish with the 3rd best record in the AL this season?
Oh, God.
Podcast topic this week.
Is it the Guards?
Question 5. Paul Skeens has made 13 starts this season and has 4 wins. How many wins will he end up with this season?
9.
Thank you, sir.
I don't feel good about that round. Who the fuck was my catcher for my all quarter century team?
Buster Posey.
Yeah, Posada was the catcher of the fucking 90s. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
It wasn't a good answer.
No. Yeah,
That's why I seemed confused.
Yeah, I blanked on that one.
That's all right. It's not an unsalvageable situation.
Well, he's going to get it right, so he's going to have to carry us on that one. Hello, Dallas. Hello? Okay.
Fuck yeah.
All right, Dallas. Can you hear me?
Gotcha, dog.
Cool. Dallas, I have a very simple question for you today.
Okay.
Did you wake up and feel like you're a hero?
Oh, is it that bad?
Typically every day.
All right.
How many points did I get?
Let's see how heroic you are. Jared, let me just make sure my math is correct.
You know what?
here.
I don't even care. It doesn't even matter.
You need 143 points. Jared got 57 points. Okay.
Done.
However, here's the only thing else I'll say. I have done the math. You can do this. You can do it. In fact, you can clear 143 points multiple different ways. Okay. So this can all happen. This isn't for show. You guys can still get to well over 200 points, even with 57 points off the board. Okay.
There are entirely too many caveats week in and week out.
It's not a caveat. It's me telling you
I
that
fucked
this
up
can
the
work.
first answer bad. Like real bad.
A lot of points still left here. He left you a pathway for sure.
Great.
It's like a big field. It's like a highway.
Life is a highway.
Ready? Just as a reminder, so you don't complain afterwards, it's out of 100 BID fans, okay?
Oh.
Question 1 of 5. Generally short questions today. So your brain should be well set up. Here we go. Ready? Question 1. Name the best option at catcher for the all quarter century team.
Buster Posey.
Question 2. Between Todd Helton, Joey Votto, Paul Goldschmidt, and Freddie Freeman, so there are only 4 choices here, who is the best option for the all quarter century team at first base?
Todd Helton.
Question 3. After Mariano Rivera, who is the best option for the all quarter century team at relief pitcher?
Trevor Hoffman.
Question 4. Which team will finish with the 3rd best record in the AL this season? This was a pod topic this week. It's not out of nowhere.
Fuck! The Guardians. What? No, what? The fuck? The Royals.
Oh, no.
Question 5. Paul Skeens has made 13 starts this season and has 4 wins. How many wins will he end up with this season?
11.
Wow.
Thank you. All right. Are you guys ready to go? Here we go. Did he get to 143?
I don't think so.
I don't feel great about it.
Question 1. Here we go. Question 1. Name the best option at catcher for the all-quarter century team. Jared said Jorge Posada.
What the fuck?
That's a 0, folks. That is a 0.
Oh, Jared.
Yogi Berra got a vote before
I panicked.
before Jorge Posada did. Yep.
Oh, you panicked. Yeah, I'd say you panicked.
Carlos Narvaez got 2. Jorge Posada 0. The good news is that left 59 points on the board for Dallas, who got Buster Posey, the number 1 overall answer.
Oh.
Yadi Molina 16, Joe Mauer 8. So obviously all the points were with Posey, some with Molina. So through one question, you guys have 59 points.
Good team effort. Good team
That
effort.
is- Yep, that's an average of almost 30 for both of you.
Yep.
Question 2. Between Todd Helton, Joey Votto, Paul Goldschmidt, and Freddie Freeman, who's the best option for the all-quarter century team at first base? Obviously removing Pujols and Miggy, because I think had Miggy been included, he would have been the overwhelming answer, even if that's not necessarily overwhelmingly correct. Jared said Joey Votto. That was the second most common answer. That was 21 points. So that gets you guys up to 80. Dallas said Todd Helton. That was the third most common answer. 94. Freddie Freeman, so hot right now, guys. Come on. You had to have known. Freddie. 63 points. The number 1 overall answer. Paul Goldschmidt trailed with 2. So it's not over. 94 points through 2 questions. It's a lot of points through 2 questions, honestly. We just know that not many of them are coming from Jared's side, unfortunately. Not to be mean, but we just know that mathematically. Question 3. After Mariano Rivera, who is the best option for the all-quarter century team at relief pitcher? Jared said Aroldis Chapman. That was the 5th most common answer. It got 7 points. So that's 101. Dallas said Trevor Hoffman. That is the number 1 overall answer. 32 points. That brings you guys up to 133 through 3.
Was he really? I mean, he wasn't this century guy. Anyways, whatever.
If you want to argue with
he
the numbers.
played. I know, but he played for the voters. He played just as long in this century as fucking Posada did.
No, it's a legitimate like complaint or observation that, you know, Trevor Hoffman's best seasons by and large were pre-2000s as opposed to post. But he had about half of his career before and half of them after. He had
I did the position. I did the
saves.
catcher version of that and got 0 points. And for the closer version of that, it's the number 1 answer. Anyways, just asking for some consistency. That's all.
I would have been. I'm surprised nobody said Kimbrel. I thought he would get more love there.
I thought about it.
But either way, Dallas's answer of Trevor Hoffman, as I said, was worth 32. So that brings you guys up to 133. And we have 2 questions and 4 answers remaining. Okay. Which team? By the way, Craig Kimbrel, 18, Kenley Jansen, 14, Billy Wagner, 10. Question 4. Which team will finish with the 3rd best record in the AL this season? Jared said Guardians. That was the 3rd most common answer with 11 points. That brings you up to 144. Dallas tried the Guardians, and then after an enormous amount of time said Royals. That was not the answer we were looking for, unfortunately. That was tied for the 7th most common answer with 4 points, which leaves you guys stuck at 148 with one question remaining.
The Tigers.
The Tigers would have gotten you more points. The Mariners were the answer we were looking for. 35 points. Easily the number 1 answer, about 3 times the Astros, who were the number 2 answer, with 12 points. So we need 52 points with the final question remaining. Obviously, that's mathematically doable. There are 100 points here.
The Mariners have the Mariners, Royals, and who was the other option? They all have the same amount of wins right now.
I understand, man. I understand.
Come on, discourse.
You got to read the sentiment of the American public. That's what Family Feud is all about, sir. 52 points on the Paul Skeens question. Do you guys have it in you? Paul Skeens has made 13 starts this season and has 4 wins. How many will he end up with this season? Jared said 9. That was the second most common answer with 18 points. That gets you guys all the way up to 166. Does Dallas have 34 points in his answer? He said 11 wins. No.
Fuck you. Come on.
10 points. It was the 4th most common answer. Unfortunately, the most common answer was the nice round 10. That would have gotten you 28 points. Unfortunately, as we go back through the post-mortem here, the Killers obviously leaving Freddie Freeman on the board. That was 63 available points that were left untouched. The Mariners, 35 points that were left untouched. Kimbrel, Jansen on down the line. So lots of points that you guys didn't quite get to. An admirable effort, though. 176 points.
That one's on me. Yeah, that one's on me. That was tough. That was a tough round for me. I mean, again, though, I go back to the Posada answer. I mean, if Trevor Hoffman, if Trevor Hoffman's going to be the number one answer, how does Jorge Posada get 0 points? I don't know, but I'm taking full accountability. We just got to be better. We suck right now, and
is this our first time losing 2 in a row?
Well, last one was the asterisk, remember?
Oh yeah, last one you were a cheating son of a bitch. I forgot.
Yeah.
Well, I got you guys back. Nice clean game this time, and just a
big fat L. Wow.
That's some
all
bullshit.
fair questions, all good numbers.
And your
came out
opinion.
nice and clean.
The only thing that's going to cheer me up now is some Mack Weldon. And fortunately, Mack Weldon has everything you need to stay cool, comfortable, and stylish regardless of the temperature. Their new tech linen line combines the easy charm of classic linen with Cool Max technology to help you look and feel your best all season long. Explore polos, sweaters, hoodies, and more at MackWeldon.com and get 25% off your first order with promo code Jared. That's Jared. I'll be sporting some Mack Weldon this weekend. I gotta look to see what the weather looks like, but I'm probably gonna be popping on some Mack Weldon when I do the unobstructed views Red Sox altcast because it's nice and comfy. I'm gonna be sitting there for a while. You gotta look good, you gotta feel good, and looking confident doesn't always mean calling attention to your clothes. Mack Weldon balances classic pieces with updated details to keep you looking sharp. They're not flashy, just classic, always in style, and made from the world's most comfortable performance materials. Mack Weldon clothes are designed to fit your style and the demands of modern life. They look like regular clothes, but feel like the latest in modern comfort. They're the go-to choice for guys who want to look great without even trying. Breathable underwear that keeps you cool, dry, and comfy all day long. Crazy comfortable, but elevated sweatpants. Give your closet a breath of fresh air for spring. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 25% off your first order of $125 or more with promo code Jared. Again, that's Jared. And it's MackWeldon.com. Promo code Jared. Any news and notes we want to hit on before you get out of here? Pablo Lopez injury seems pretty serious. Seems like that's going to be a big blow to the Twins.
8 to 12 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's rough. That's
Yeah,
rough. I hate to say it, but feels like that's a season wrap.
Ooh.
I mean, it's potentially just, we don't know what direction the Twins were going to go in, but he was certainly linked as a possible trade candidate too, if they were to have fallen out of the picture. Yeah, very unfortunate, regardless of what their aspirations are. On the positive side, though, if we're asking for things to wrap it up here, Yuri Perez, to me, is legitimately exciting on the return. I know that it's the Marlins. I know that there's some question as to what exactly his workload will be, but it feels like a long time ago, but it's not that long ago that he was one of the most exciting young arms in baseball when he came up at 20 years old and had a 3.15 ERA and 19 starts with, some really electric swing and miss to match. And, he's still only 22 and a fresh 22 at that. So I'm very, very excited to see his return. That's not a final thought, but that's in terms of news and notes. That's something that I thought was worth calling out.
All right. Dallas, final thoughts? Actually, no. Jayhay, you got some nugs, I'm assuming.
Yeah, rapid fire here.
Yeah.
Lucas Giolito, in 19 starts since being traded from the White Sox in July of 2023, now has a 6.77 ERA in 97 starts. So I know you were saying it's either good or really, really bad, and I'm not disputing that, but generally speaking, it's been nothing but bad since he was traded from the White Sox across 3 different organizations. Mackenzie Gore continues one of the great swing and miss seasons in the history of left-handed pitching. He has 108 strikeouts through his first 13 starts. The only pitchers to ever do that, 108 or more through the first 13 left-handed, are a bunch based. I'm not going to read them all, but it's in the wild card era. It's Randy Johnson, Johan, Kershaw, Sale, Rodon, and Mackenzie Gore. So pretty cool. By the way, Randy Johnson's done that 7 times. As always, operating on a different level than every other pitcher. Chris Sale, another 10 strikeout game last night. It was another one that featured 1 run allowed. That is his 49th career 10K 1 or 0 run allowed performance. That breaks a tie with Sandy Koufax for the second most such starts among lefties in baseball history. He has 49. Koufax has 48. Randy Johnson has 93. Jackson Chourio had another game with a homer and a stolen base yesterday. That gives him 6 games with both of those things in his career. In terms of players age 21 or younger, the only players to have more such games are Mike Trout, Cesar Cedeno, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Roberto Clemente. And then following up on, Roberto Clemente, Roberto Alomar, and both great players, but different legacies. Certainly, don't want to confuse them. And to follow up on a point we were kind of kicking around yesterday with the Paul Skeens stuff, his ERA, bad luck, ERA and losses, that sort of stuff. I looked at lowest ERA in losses with a minimum of 9 career losses in the wild card era. So arbitrary number, but that's the number of losses he has. Have to start somewhere. His ERA is 3.13, as discussed yesterday in losses. The next lowest ERA in losses is Kodai Senga at 4.47. So almost a run and a half of difference. And I know a lot of people have done DeGrom comparisons for Paul Skeens and his lack of run support. Jacob DeGrom's ERA in losses for his career is 5.16. Skeens, as I said, 3.13. So 2 full runs lower. Obviously different sample sizes, but that level of bad luck kind of on a different level. Those are the nuts.
Thank you very much, Jayhay. You got a final thought besides all that banging?
Yeah, I got 2 thoughts. Number 1, shout out to the lefties, Jayhay, because as of right now, I believe it is Mackenzie Gore and Garrett Crochet who have north of 100 strikeouts. And they are the only 2 pitchers in baseball with 100 or more strikeouts. There is not a single right-handed pitcher with 100 strikeouts, and there are only 2 right-handed pitchers with 90 or more strikeouts. So the lefties leading the charge as of right now. And then yesterday in the Texas Tech, Texas softball game 1 of the Women's College World Series Finals, there was a play in the game that it was painful to watch, but beautiful all at the same time. And it crushed me in the moment, just absolutely crushed me. And it was an intentional walk. And I was unaware that in women's softball, you have to throw the pitches. There is no automatic just send her down to first base. You have to throw the pitches. So for Texas Tech, the all-world pitcher, Nigeria, she 2-0 and then ends up throwing the 3rd pitch of the intentional walk close enough where the hitter smoked it. RBI. Texas goes up. The Red Raiders lose the game. And it was tough to watch, but as I said, the beautiful part of it was remembering why I felt so strongly about this play being taken out of baseball. And it's because it is a different throw. It's a strategic play that can absolutely change the impact or change the course of a game through many different ways. And one of them showed up last night. But also credit to Jayhay, because she got up on the podium afterwards after getting grilled and was like, this is on me. I didn't execute. It's not about the challenge. I didn't execute, and this loss is on me. I apologize to my teammates, which was so fucking heartbreaking that she would even have to do that or feel the need to do that. But that speaks to the type of competitor she is, and I love the mindset where it's we win together. And if I've blown it, then I lose. I'm the one. This is on me. But she has done so much for the school. She's done so much for the team and her teammates. I would hate to think that she feels like it's all on her, because it's obviously a complete and total team effort. But I got a lot of confidence in those ladies to bounce back tonight. So if you want to watch game 2, that's going to start at 5:00 tonight on ESPN. And game 3 will be tomorrow, 5:00 ESPN. Here we go, Red Raider.
All right. Did you have a final thought, Jayhay?
Yeah, very quickly. Tigers Cubs this weekend could be the best record in the AL against the best record in the NL. Pretty pumped about that. And be sure to check out Jesus Luzardo's episode of Slab Lab, which was released earlier this week, and is excellent. And Luzardo's pitching again today, so you could watch Jesus Luzardo pitch while watching and listening to the episode of Slab Lab featuring Jesus Luzardo.
Yeah, it'd be cool to dial up the part about the sweeper, because he gets really in depth on the conversation on how the sweeper became introduced to him and how he's implemented it. It's obviously one of the best pitches in baseball right now. So like Jayhay said, you could listen to him tell you why it's dominating and then watch it dominate.
Third highest whiff rate of any pitch by a starting pitcher this season, behind only Tarek Skubal's changeup and Hunter Green's slider, I believe. So there you go.
Nastiness.
Jake's takes?
Red Sox are off today, thank God. So I think I'm going to ride with the A's. Lost
Okay,
28-21.
like
Let's turn this thing around, Dallas.
That is.
I'm into that.
That's masochistic.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
We need all the help we can get. Today's the day, Dal. The green and gold getting that dub today.
I certainly hope so. It's not for a lack of positive vibes. I can tell you that.
Preach.
We go into the ballpark each and every day with a smile, excited for the W that's waiting for us. We just got to go get it.
Got to go get it. God bless. God bless the A's. All right. Thank you guys for watching and listening this week. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't want to keep promoting something that doesn't exist, but the YouTube channel, hopefully Baseball is Dead has their own YouTube channel on Monday. Don't fucking know. Still waiting on that. But we'll be pumping it out on socials when it does happen. Again, please, it helps us very, very much if you can subscribe to the new YouTube channel once it's ready to go. Also, again, Baseball is Dead is on Cameo. If you want any of the boys to send you some content, I'm sure Dallas is recording videos in between innings, and you've got Jayhay, who is ready to deploy in any nug battle that you may be having with your friends this weekend over some blue moons. And
did some research for one this morning, actually.
Is it the one that I had hoped about?
That is one of them. There are a couple, actually.
Okay.
We're going to be deploying the videos very soon.
Yes, I can't wait for that. The one in particular that we're talking about is a fan asked Jayhay if he could give a statistical analysis to prove that Nomar was better than Jeter. I'm very excited to see that. So if you were the one that bought that, send it to me. I also want to see it. And then Jake is on there as well. And, he never shuts the fuck up. So I think the average cameo is 30 seconds, but I think Jake's are 15 set to 17 minutes. So you'll get your money's worth. I did see, though, Jake, that you priced yourself at $7.5 million.
Yeah, that's just what they recommended me. So I figured they knew what was best.
Yeah. Well, I thought they recommended you
$7.5.
for 9 and you went 7.5 for the people.
Yeah, they were like, we've never recommended this high, so we can only do 7.5. I was like, all right, we'll settle there.
Yeah. So, I mean, man of the people, Jake lowering his actual value so that you can, so he can be more accessible to the fans. Love the gesture. Enjoy your weekend of baseball. We will be back here on Monday. We'll see you then.
We gone.